Welcome back to Hustle to Holdings, where we talk about how hustle turns into long term ownership. Today's episode is a special one for me personally. My guest is someone that I've watched grow over the years, not from a distance, but in real time. We're both Venezuelan and both building within real estate. I first saw him coordinating real estate events, putting himself in rooms, learning, connecting, and hustling. From there, I watched him move into flipping properties, then into buy and holds, and steadily build a life that supports not just success, but a family. Today, he's living in Miami, taking care of his family, and enjoying the rewards of years of discipline, including a dream Lamborghini that represents sacrifice, consistency, and belief. This episode is personal for me, and I'm here to learn from his journey, his mindset, and the decisions that got him to where he is today. Luigi, welcome to Hustle to Holdings.
Hey, what's up? Thank you for having me, Luigi. Off market deals for the people that don't know me. It's pretty simple. I have off market deals, and I also where you met me, run network at a monthly network event here in South Florida, REI events, and very excited, very happy to be on your show. From hustle to holdings, right? Because we want everybody to be holding real estate and building real wealth and real generational wealth.
So, tell me a little bit about your journey. You sent me a video that I just saw. It was crazy, talking about how in 2018 you had negative $40 in your bank account. How did that go from negative 40 to Lamborghini? Please explain. So, tell me about
Yes,
before real estate and what got you into hustling.
now I love to tell people my story because some people they have a head start, right? Some people they'll have like I don't know hundreds of $1,000s of head start. I started negative. I started with a negative balance sheet, working a 7 to 7 job. I still remember waking up at 7 in the morning, getting up, getting into work, getting into work 2 hours earlier, and then leaving 2 hours later just so I can hit that overtime because I think I was making somewhere around $18 an hour with overtime. It was 27, and I would always make sure I'd go in 2 hours earlier, 2 hours later. So literally, I would go to work when it was dark and leave when it was dark, and but I was just spinning the hamster wheel, barely getting by, and not basically not being able to invest. Um, yeah, it was it was definitely tough, definitely tough.
What shifted into real estate at that time? Did you always know you wanted to invest into real estate? Like, how did you get introduced to the space?
So I got introduced in about 10 11 years ago. I moved. I got lucky because so I was doing a lot of social media marketing back in the day, and when we're in the huddle, the morning huddle from on the Mondays, and everybody was asking, "Hey, why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you here?" And I said, to the main guy that was speaking, at the Monday morning huddle. I was like, "Oh, I'm here because I want to buy a house," and it all goes back to speaking it to existence. I spoke it, and a toki, mortgage broker, tapped me on my shoulder, and he's like, "I'm gonna get you approved." And at that time, I was making probably like 11, $12 an hour, and that social media marketing job, it was like a side hustle, right? It was a side hustle. They'd go on like Saturday, like Monday nights. And so he tapped me on my shoulder. He's like, "I'm gonna get you approved." Working with him for 6 months. I'm telling him, he told me, "Hey, you gotta pay off this, and this, and I'm gonna get you a pre-approval." Prior to that, I had gone into Wells Fargo and Chase, and I go there, trying to get a pre-approval. And I hand them, my pay stubs. Literally, they laughed on my face. I'm not gonna lie. They literally laughed on my. I left there crying. I was like, man, I'm never gonna be able to own a house. But luckily, again, speaking it to existence, that mortgage broker tapped me in my back. He ended up getting me a pre-approval for $106,000. Obviously, that doesn't sound like a lot. $106,000. What can that get you here today? That can't get you much. But I was persistent. I didn't give up. I got that paper, and I had gotten a realtor at the time. We had sent 60 offers. 60 offers. I remember getting rejected. I know it was 60 because I remember getting rejected 60 times. And every time I would send an
Oh
offer,
my
no,
God.
they chose a cash offer. No, they chose a cash offer. No, they chose a cash offer. I was like, to the point, you know what? Hey, realtor, I'm sorry. Like, we're gonna have to break, like, we're gonna have to cut it here, cut a relationship. And I started looking up on Craigslist. It was the off market. That's how it kind of came to be, the off market deals thing, because so I jumped on Craigslist and I found this deal. I found a few deals on Craigslist, and this guy said, $65,000 for a house in Liberty City. I'm like, what's Liberty City? I used to live in Doral, and then from Doral, I moved out of my mom's house to Fontainebleau because Doral was too expensive. So I moved to Fontainebleau, which was a little bit cheaper. And then I was like, okay, found it. Well, I looked up, I was like, oh, it's like 15 minutes from space. I'm like, okay, cool. It's gonna be all right. And then it was like went close to Wynwood. So I went there, drove there. It was like a frame, like shit box. It was a frame piece of shit. I'm sorry to say.
And in Liberty City too. Like
Liberty
that's
City,
not the safest area.
65,000 dollars. Like, you know what? This not the deal for me. And then as I was leaving, he said, "Hey, look, I have this other deal. It's not on the market, and it's not for sale, but I'm gonna just give you the address." I was like, "All right, whatever." I went back and I was like, "What was this? CBS?" It had like two driveways. I was like, "Okay, okay." I like jumped the fence without asking anybody. I made sure it had like two of the years, and I was like, I called him up. I was like, "How much do you want?" He's like, 115. I was like, "I'll take it." And he's like, "Oh, do you have a realtor?" I do not have a realtor, and I do not know what I'm doing. But I didn't tell him that I didn't know what I was doing. But
Wait, but
I
you were pre-approved for 105, no?
106. So check it out. So I knocked on my mom. I was like, "Mom." So I told my mom, like, "Mom, give me 8. I'm gonna give you $10,000 back." I was raising capital without even knowing I was raising capital with a 20% return. So she lent me $8,000. I had already 8 saved up, and with the $16,000, I was able to get that house. That house, luckily today, it's worth 600,000, and it's paid off. So,
Wow.
um,
Wow,
and
and you paid it off?
well, I mean, because I bought it for 100, like 100. I paid 116 for it, which was nothing. I house hacked for about 5 years. It was a 1-1 and a three
Okay.
and a 3-2. Um, and
It's a
basically with that,
duplex.
there's a duplex. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a duplex.
Nice.
So that's how I was able to stack. And then eventually the house next door became for sale, and I was able to pick that up for 158,000. So that's why I love off market, because all those, like, the realtor couldn't do anything for me. She couldn't find a deal that made sense. I found
Right.
the deal on my own off market. I found it my second investment home off market as well for 158,000. That house right now is worth 550, and the house, that first house is worth 600. And that's like my two first investment properties right there, you know.
Nice. Honestly, congratulations in Miami. Big clap on the back with your negotiation skills. I can definitely see why you like off market. So then how did that turn into your business? Let's go into how you
um,
shifted that.
so I only had so I had so I had two properties. It was basically 4 doors. But I still was working 70-hour weeks, and it wasn't really trending for me. But in 2019, I remember I
Yeah.
had $381 in my bank account because I had just got done with an eviction, so money was tight. And I was like,
Uh,
I
yeah.
have to do something. And so I was walking my dog. I was reading books on Lex Levingrad, Camilo Cashflow, David Ligon. They all have books, by the way. And then so they're telling me about wholesaling. So I um I basically was walking my dog, and then I see this violation on this land, like literally behind my house, and I was like, that guy doesn't know what he has. And I grabbed the violation, I took it home, I learned about skip tracing. Skip tracing is basically where you put a person's name and find their number and their email. I called them for 3 straight months, and with the email, he finally answered. Like, I sent him a picture of his violation. I'm like, "You're gonna go to tax deed auction." And he finally sent me his number. I'm like, "Well, sir, I'm an investor. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry to bother you. I'm an investor and I want to buy the property. But I don't want to offend you with my offer. I told him. He's like, I'm a man. Give it to me straight. And then he's like, and then I'm like, oh, give me 15. You could take it. And he told me, oh, give me, I told him, oh, my offer was, oh, well, sir, my offer is $15,000. Then he said, uh, give me 20 and you could take it. The reason why I said 15 was because that the 15 was never my number. My number was always 20. But for land, you have to get it at 50 cents on the dollar. And I knew that the house next door, the land next door sold for
Yeah.
40. So I knew if I could get it for basically 50 cents on the dollar or 20,000, I would be set. So I did a little bit of reverse psychology on him. I told him it was 15. He was happy with 20. When I'm writing the contract, I know that I had $383 in my bank account because I'm writing the contract. I put $20,000 on the contract, and then where it says EMD, I go real quick. I check my Wells Fargo account and I had $383. I'm like, might as well put $100. I put $100. I signed up for the free trial DocuSign because if you don't know about DocuSign, it's like $35 a month. It's pretty expensive, and so I
Yeah.
signed up for the free trial, and 5 minutes later he signed. I gave that deal to another wholesaler that was doing already business. And we sold it in 48 hours for $35,000. And so my bank, I never split the difference, guys. I gave him 5, I got 10. So now my bank account had $10,000 and 83. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Congratulations! That's freaking crazy. Talk about hustle. That's the ultimate way of making money out of thin air because that's exactly what you did.
It clicked. I was still working my job, but then after like I did through like 3 more contracts after that. I made like 7,500 on my next one. I did hit a $25,000 banker on the third one.
Wow.
After the third one, I was like, I gave my 3 weeks notice. Like I gave my 2 weeks notice, and the rest is history, baby. I mean, I'm here. We did about 1.6. We did about 1.6 last year. And we're just gonna continue to grow. I think we're one of the best wholesalers in the industry right now. We're almost 90% co-wholesaling deals. If you need help displaying your deal, if you have a deal, I have a buyer for you. And I'm just here to help everybody. And JV, let's all make money together, right?
I love that. I love that. So tell me about when you started this KIPS tracing. Did you do that yourself or did you outsource using Fiverr?
So I actually used a free website called mytruepeoplesearch.com. It was free. And also I have PropStream, which you can get like a 7-day free trial, and PropStream also helps as well. PropStream, My True People Search. Now I use IntelliUS PI, which is another one. But My True People Search is free.
I love the when you came in saying, I don't want to offend you with my offer. That way you can already get a little feel of how they're gonna react.
No, no, it took me time. So once I finally got his number, I did research on him. I knew he was 65, so I knew how to come in real proper. I knew exactly where my offer price had to be. It was just all execution to the T. It was like perfect execution. And it worked out because at closing he calls me and says, "I have another lot for you for $30,000." Boom.
No way.
That lot today is probably worth like 400. I sold it for 50, which was just beautiful. Everything just aligned very like perfectly, into my entry into the wholesaling space. Now I own about 30 doors. A negative bank account in 2018. We did $1.6 million in assignments last year. And trying to do 2 million this year.
So what transitioned you into, well, not transition, but it's additional. So what happened with the REI events? So why did you start that? Is it still ongoing?
Yeah.
Because that's where I
So
met you and I learned about you. I used to go
yeah.
to a lot of your events.
So I think it's very important for like anybody getting into that space. How is the quickest way to put it? The biggest closers in the room, is through networking. So I think it was a beautiful, also idea. It was a perfect execution as well. I teamed up with 3 different industry leaders, Henry Camejo, Ernie the title guy, and then Luigi from Off Market Deals. And I basically we would do networking events to meet more buyers and sellers, and that's how I grew my buyers list. You know, every
Nice.
event it was 300, 400 new emails and phone numbers into my database. So from somebody that is just going into the space versus somebody that's probably been in this industry for 10 years and they have their database already built out, that was the only way for me to really get a hold of this industry and build a buyer's list and credibility within the space.
Do you have any mentors? Did you just think of this yourself on the
No,
fly? Like,
no, 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 of course not. I always want to say, Lex Levinrad, he's good. He's out in Boca. Camilo Cashflow, he has another 20 years in this space. Jim Van Dyke, he sold before he passed away, unfortunately, rest in peace, 247 deals a year. So,
oh
it was
wow.
because of surrounding myself with people like that. David Ligon, as I would, I did 105, but I still didn't hit 247. I'm halfway. I'm not even
You'll
halfway.
be
I'm
there. You'll be
almost,
there
you know.
2026. It just started.
So yeah, definitely I want to give a shout out to them because of them. Like I wouldn't be here if I wasn't for the mentors, and I recommend anybody to get a mentor. Yeah.
So, what mistakes do you say you've made early on? And yeah, what would you tell yourself, now that where you are, where you are?
Just go harder. Just go
Go
harder.
hard.
Wake up earlier. I mean, if I was waking up at 7, maybe I wish was waking up at 5 in the morning. It's you versus you at the end of the day. I don't really like to compare myself to anybody else. I think it's me against me. At the end of the day, it's me against me. So I'm my own competition at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, that's very, very true. So, let's say someone wants to start wholesaling, what would you advise them? Like, what would you tell them and guide them to be
Be a,
where you
be a
are
bird
today?
dog. Be a bird dog. I actually, I work with many people right now. I have about 10 personal students that I'm coaching one on one. I don't really promote it, but yeah, right now I have about ten students that I'm coaching one on one. And they're getting deals straight
Nice.
on time MLS. Right now, we just closed a deal. I think it was like the 2nd of January, a $60,000 assignment fee. The guy got it from the
Wow.
MLS. It was $600,000. I put it on my list. We were able to sell it for 660, and it was on the MLS. So, guys, there are deals on market. You just have to know how to negotiate, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I've gotten all of my deals on market, but now I'm switching more into creative, finance and off market deals as well. Since the best
Mhm.
deals are off market, you just kind of have to go through the hurdles as to why they're off market. But I
Exactly.
also saw you're a realtor now, you're a
Mhm.
lender now, so you're basically all around the space. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I've had my license since 2020, and but I mostly use it for on the investment side when I represent myself, and for the funding, I'm a private hard money lender, so it's non-conforming, like non-conforming loans, basically a non-owner occupied, investment purposes, and to get cash deals, right? So when your normal lender can't fund the file because there's a roof doesn't the roof is too old, it doesn't
Hmm.
pass the 4-point inspection. I come in and that's why I go with the private money, and we're able to close you in less than 72 hours, I would say.
Oh, really? Is
Yeah,
this mainly for residential? Or do you also do commercial?
we do some commercial, but we mostly focus on fix and flip.
Focus
Yeah,
on fix and flips. Okay,
fix and flip.
great,
And we
great.
also work on like gap funding, so if you have 80%, we can also help you with the 20% gap as well.
Okay, okay.
So
And then you're full time right now. What do you mainly focus on within your business? Because you do a little bit of everything. So, what is your
yeah.
main, I would say, forte right now?
No, I'm at the closing table. I mean, you see me, but behind
Okay.
me, I have a team, right? So I have a disposition
Mm-hmm.
manager, I have an acquisitions manager, I have a customers relations,
Okay.
I have a transaction coordinator, I have a runner that looks at the properties. So you see me here at the screen because I'm in the front side of the business, but again, I have
Right.
a whole team that helps me run the back end of the
You're the
business.
model of the business now.
I guess, yeah.
so, So let's say I'm trying to follow a similar path, right? Where should I focus on first?
So it really just depends. Like for me, wholesaling was easy because it was easy for me to build up capital. I was using $100 in escrow, and getting a $10,000 return. So it was a low
That's
cost to
crazy, yeah.
entry and high margins, right? So very low cost to entry, high margins, and I just kind of stuck with that, right? So I stuck with what was working. And then obviously, after 10 deals sold, I would buy a property. After 10 deals sold, I would buy a property. So some people say sell four, buy one, sell
Mm.
four, buy one, sell four, buy one. So mine was more like sell 10, buy one, sell 10, buy one. And then, whenever my bank account was, 80, 100 in the bank, boom, I was always looking for my next deal. And then now I don't have to work so hard because now my cash flow is helping me with that supplemental income. Where like if I'm making, $60,000 a month, but every other deal I'm adding two more $1,000 into my net cash flow. It helps me. So I mean that's what I could say for my own strategy. But yeah, it just depends. I mean, I would
Okay.
say know your formulas at the end of the day as well, right? So like for me, I was buying at 0.65. Now I'm gonna start as the market is shifting downwards. I'm gonna start buying at 0.40, 0.50
Okay,
cents on the
great.
dollar,
So then,
basically.
cents on the dollar. Perfect.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, what would you do differently if you started today?
Um, I would have started early. I wish I would have started earlier.
Earlier?
I
Okay,
wish I would have
that
started.
makes
I
sense.
wish I started earlier. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at these properties for 100,000, 150. I wish I would have kept more. When I could have been able to. There's a lot of properties I drive by now. I was like, I could have bought that for 160. I could have bought that for 180, and right now it's just still exploded.
Are you still looking in Miami, or now you're venturing off to like more north, west coast? What are the areas you're targeting now?
No, no, still Miami. I like to be close to my properties. Most of my properties are proximity to each other. I could right now, as it stands, I could visit three properties and still make it home for lunch. I don't. I have my daughter,
Oh.
family, so I like to be close to my properties.
Okay, so now let's talk about family. Now that you mentioned her, if that's okay. So, how important is your family, your daughter, in all of these decisions that you make?
No, no. I mean, at the end of the, I'm just working for her now. She's she's
Nah.
I'm just working for her, and it's just a new motivation, right? Before it was I would work for me. Now it's like, okay, I have
Mhm.
money, but now it's I work for them. So it's definitely a new motivation.
So, what are you doing to set her up for success? I mean, besides owning property, right? I mean, do you
Mhm.
have a little property that's going to pay for her university? Like, what is your plan for her, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Financially,
just
right? She
just exactly, just let the equity do all the work, let time and equity do all the hard work, right? So if she's young, if I start her up with a property now, I'll let time do all the heavy lifting. By the time she's 18, property will be paid off. It does all the heavy lifting for her. So that's why it's important to start at a young age, because you let
yeah.
time do all the heavy lifting, right? So even if, say I bought a property with very low money down, by the time she's 18 already, it'll just snowball, be paid off. And yeah, so time definitely is an important factor in real estate and
I'm also
starting.
noticing discipline is because a lot of people start wholesaling, but then they give up because of the cold calling. They're not getting good deals. These people are literally saying "f you" to the
Yeah.
offers that we give. So, what's something that you would tell someone starting off who's just like about to give up because of the
So
frustration?
no, no, I totally understand. My when I was first starting off, my formula, and that's why I told you it's very important to know your metrics and know your
Yeah.
formula, right? So my metrics was 500 phone calls to one deal sold, meaning 500 phone calls made me at least $10,000. That means if I knew that I would get on the phone and I would make 500 phone calls, 450 people will actually tell me to go fuck myself. They'll hang up the phone, just, curse me out. 50 will be warm, 10 will be hot, and I'll close one. So that was my metric. I knew that if Luigi got on the phone today, made 500 phone calls, I knew I was gonna get rejected 450 times. I knew that. It was all there in my formula. Track your formulas, track your KPIs, and I knew that 50 will be warm, 10 will be hot, and I'll close one deal that would make me at least $10,000.
That's gold. That's definitely gold. And a realistic goal, honestly, because some people expect 100 phone calls and they don't close anything and they completely shut down.
Exactly. You're not gonna close a deal in 100 phone calls. Yeah.
That's not even half of what you did. So that's awesome. That's awesome to know, and it's great motivation. So, speaking of, what does that Lamborghini represent to you now that you have it? It's beautiful. I mean, man, I love your car. So, what does it represent to
No,
you?
so I bought it off market blue. It's off market blue. The first thing I did was I painted the
Yeah. Did
calipers.
you buy it off
Uh,
market
you know,
too? No, I'm just kidding.
I definitely bought it off market. Yeah, the first thing I did was paint the calipers yellow, and it's off market blue.
So it represents. What does it represent to you? Oh,
Oh no, success. I'm driving a
success.
Lamborghini, man.
You
I think
made it.
everybody's. I think it's the pinnacle of success in America, right? Is like the American dream, right? You have your house. I have my house with a pool. I do barbecue. I grill barbecues on Sunday, and I drive a Lamborghini. You
With
know what I mean?
wasakaka?
Huh?
I've seen
Oh,
your
pasta
barbecues, but
caca.
I don't see
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
wasakaka in your
Of
in your
course,
barbecues.
of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so how do you balance all of the success while staying grounded at the same time, staying humble? How do you balance that?
Um, she's such a daddy's girl. No, I think balance is super important. I mean, keeping track of your finances as well. Miami is a crazy, crazy city. Which is unlike any other city in the world. It's one of the most expensive cities in any other places in the world. Anywhere I go, it's cheaper than Miami.
Yep.
Like I go anywhere, I see the receipt. I don't even look at the bill anymore. But when I do, it's definitely more expensive here in Miami than anywhere else.
How do you manage keeping your Lamborghini clean with a toddler? I can definitely
Oh
see she's
my
a little
God.
baby.
Well, the seats are leather, so that helps. But we've
Okay.
definitely had some tough discussions. For sure, for sure.
So, last few questions. What does legacy mean to you now that you have your family? You're still working, grinding it off. What does it mean to you?
No, I think legacy for me means I mean doing right. And nobody tells you this, but you can't go and buy a Lamborghini and then not help your mom and dad. So the
Oh
like
yeah.
before I ever bought a Lamborghini, I helped my mom with a house and an investment house. And then recently, like about a month ago, I actually bought my dad a house, and 5 days before closing, the bank tells me we're denying your loan. So I had to empty my bank
What?
account. Yeah, yeah. So I had to empty my bank account. And I bought it cash. Cash, no hard money, no mortgage, free and clear.
Congrats.
So I think that's important because again, I can't be just,
Yeah.
I can't be riding and then everybody be good and then obviously my family is left behind. And that's the things that they don't tell you, that obviously you have to help your family along the way. So I think that is super important. And luckily I was able to close, and nothing moving forward, moving forward. That's it. That's all you got to do. Just remember your family, remember where you came from, where you started, and always be humble. It's
Yeah,
important.
I love that. I love that so much. So, do you have a morning routine that you always follow?
So my power hour is anywhere from like 7 in the morning to 9. I feel like that's like my power hour where I can read a book. I could go bike riding because nobody's like the phones aren't ringing yet. So, the power hour for me is like from 7 to like 9. If I go a little bit early, 6. But yeah, 7 to 8:30 is like a sweet spot power hour where like I can read a book or like work out a little bit before the phones start ringing.
Okay, great. And you're not cold calling anymore. Now you've built your team, you've built a system of cold callers to be able to find these deals.
Correct. Yeah, deals come to me now, and I just pull them out. I do snipe some deals here and there, um, I don't think I'll ever stop cold calling or like seeing a deal, but I do try to snipe some
Mhm.
deals here and there. Like if I have a VIP client, he's telling me, "Hey, I need this particular thing," I'll jump in and I'll put in the work as well. So I'm still here. I'm still here working.
So, what type of deals are you looking for
Um,
specifically? Like, what type of buyers is it that you have?
so it's pretty simple. Whatever you see on Zillow times 0.50 or 0.55. Generally, last year was 0.65. Let me see if I could just maybe pull up my calculator real quick. So like you're not gonna see it, but like say deals on the MLS for 355,000. I go 355,000 times 0.65 is 230. So I try to get it, for 230. That's my offer price. And if they're not willing to
Mhm.
negotiate, it's not a deal. It's not worth my time.
So you just send offers, send offers, send offers, lock it in, and
With
then
that
boom.
formula.
So send it to the with the formula. Okay.
Mhm.
What was the formula one more time for the listeners?
So times 0.55, 0.65, 0.55 to 0.65
Of the Zillow price.
of the Zillow price. Yeah, just generic. Hmm.
Okay, beautiful. Do you have one last thing to say to anyone listening who's on their hustle to holdings journey? Any piece of advice that you'd like to say?
Yeah. Where there's a will, there's a way. I've grown my bank account from negative $43 to $1.6 million in 2025. So if I did it, you can too,
Amazing.
I mean, why not?
Love it, love it. Do you have a real estate or business book that you would recommend to anyone who's listening right now?
Uh
I
so here's two. Cash Flowpreneur. This is by Camilo Cashflow. Is
Camilo
I do
Cashflow.
business with him a lot. And another one is Rescue Your Business by Kevin Thatcher. These are both mentors of mine, really good friends, and you can pick them up on Amazon.
Awesome, awesome. I
100%.
love that. Where can people find out more about you and connect with you?
So offmarketdeals.net, I have a community. They could join. Yeah. So offmarketdeals.net, join my community. Let's close some deals. If you guys need funding, offmarketfunding.com. And I'm here to help you guys close some deals. Pretty much. And Off Market Deals Miami for
Awesome.
Instagram.
I'm gonna put all of that information down in the show notes in case you want to follow as well and JV with him. And then, I mean, hey, thank you so much for your time. You've inspired me truly. I've
Yep.
seen you grow. I didn't know you had negative forty
All about the
dollars in your
comers.
bank account before. But yeah, exactly. So you inspire me. So thank you for taking the time here today to talk to me, talk to this audience about what it takes to be where you are today and to get a Lamborghini, which I definitely would want very soon. For me, it's gonna be green though, a dark green.
Love it. Yeah, manifest and be detailed with your manifestations and put it on paper.
Yeah, I got it. I gotta put it on the vision board. Thank you so much, Luigi.
Perfect. Bye.